That's gonna be some fresh coffee. Looks pretty good to me. Maybe a little bit more milling. A little bit. Unfortunately, the rocks out here aren't very flat. They're very porous. So, I'm trying to mill it the best I can without tearing apart my bandana. Alright, ready for some coffee. Okay, so I just poured the grounds into my AeroPress here. I sell filters for it, but what's the point? Just use that same old bandana. Make sure you find the right. Right there. There they are. Just like that. I'm ready for my boiling water. Pretty simple. Time to check on the water. Alright, got our water boiled. Gonna add it in. Looks good to me. Let this sit for about 6 minutes, 5 minutes maybe. This can do the same, so it gets all thick and hearty. Ooh. Oh, it looks good. Oh yeah, nice. Good morning. It is day 2 of the Operation Enduring the Missouri. So peaceful. You can just hear the faint crackle of the fire as it's dying off. I'm gonna have to douse it here in a second. Thank you for joining me for making my coffee. Oh my God, that's good. That's so good. It's terrible. I was in town yesterday getting information and trying to see where I could camp and what was going to be the best campsite. The park ranger sent me to this one because I have to hike up to the fire hole today. It's going to be a 24-mile round trip hike. It's going to be pretty tough. I'll bring water, and I might even bring, I don't know. All of my bags that I have with me are foolishly for water travel. Like, they're all the Watershed duffels instead of the Watershed actual backpacks. So it's tough to carry those through the woods like a regular backpack. maybe I'll try to figure out a way. Either way, I might end up having to bring just an emergency sleeping bag, sleeping pad, and hammock. I mean, I might not make it back before dark, and that would be a problem. Mostly for bears. And I mean that, mostly for bears, because, because I'm coming through. But, no, it's, they told me it was thick bear country where I'm headed. It's up around 8,000 feet. I can't remember, something like that. God damn, that's good coffee. Oh yeah, that's where I was going. So I was in town checking out information, looking for, gathering all the right material, pamphlets, literature, whatever you want. And I stumbled into this coffee shop, and these two, you can tell they have to be. If they're not, then I'm more surprised than they were, but I think that they were snowbirds. But I walk in, and the lady just sits back and stares at me, and I was wearing the same clothes as I was in the video from yesterday, from the first day, from August 11th. So today is August 12th. Anyway, I was wearing the same clothes from yesterday. So a nice blue button-up shirt, black, what appear to be slacks, but they're Eddie Bauer. They're really great spring. I'd even go summer, maybe fall pants. They're really good. They're very stretchy. So yeah, I like them anyway, but they look really nice. So I looked decent aside from, how I always wear my hat all goofy. But what got her was my knife on my hip, and she was like, "What is that for?" I kind of look around, and I was holding my coffee mug. I was like, "Coffee?" And she's like, "No, you're carrying a knife. I've never seen anyone carry a knife before." That was the strangest thing to me, because we're in Montana. Like, Montana, Idaho, Wyoming area. We're right outside of a national forest and a national park. It's funny that she's never seen somebody carry a knife, and she's like, "No, I've only seen she's like, "Well, you must be a fisherman." I'm like, no, I'm an outdoorsman. She's like, "Oh," she's like, "I've only seen fishermen and kites." I'm like, what the fuck is a kite? I kind of had an idea, but apparently she's more hip than I am. He's like, it's kind of like what you do is you stand on a board. I'm like, "Oh, kiteboarders." I didn't even want her to finish. And I wanted her to finish her thought or her sentence. But it was just strange, and they were very, very snooty the whole time. So they got to be snowbirds. They got to be living somewhere else. And they just come up here to run their little coffee shop. Of course they would own a coffee shop. God, that sucks, because I want to own a coffee shop. So anyway, heard some wolves howling last night. Not hollowing, but howling. That was incredible. It was funny, because every time I would go to grab my phone out of my pocket to press record, they would stop. It was a lot of yipping. It was almost like coyotes, but there was one steady. It had to have been some form of communication, because I've heard coyotes yip, but I've never really heard them like give this long, beautiful howl like a wolf will. Just like just forever kind of howl, and it was just beautiful. But there was a lot of yipping going around, like they were either separated or I don't know. It's so cool. I'll have to see if there's any books on like the language of wolves. They have to be able to they have to have a language. They have to communicate. There's got to be certain octaves or something like that, or levels or pitches, because this one was yipping in threes and the other one was howling. And it was a yip yip yip. Yip yip yip. Yeah, it was so cool. So yeah, I heard that, but every time I pulled my phone out to press record, they would stop. Almost like they knew. Oh, maybe they knew. And then the night, after being so incredibly awesome, got pretty terrible. Because I didn't bring a sleeping pad with me. So I did have my Zero down sleeping bag. from GoLite. They're no longer a company anymore, but actually they're pulling a Gander Mountain, or a Donald Trump, if you will. They filed bankruptcy and they're starting a new company called My Trail on a GoFundMe. But people do it. People are funding them. So I guess whatever, it's your money, not mine. I won't do it. I guess I did buy their sleeping bag. That was when they were going out of business. Great sleeping bag, though. Really, actually, really great. I guess they were around in Colorado, Boulder specifically, for a while. So really, really good stuff. Yeah, but it was freezing last night. Like, even when I packed everything up and I put my hammock away, my hammock it felt like it was frozen. It was bad. It was really cold last night. So that was not good. I actually took my jacket off. Excuse me. So I could put it under the sleeping bag to kind of act as a barrier. So hammock, jacket, sleeping bag, me with my wool on underneath. And that worked, but then my lower end was still cold. My feet started to get really cold. I wasn't wearing socks. It's so cool how, like, you can... Guy's booking it, too. There's a truck coming down the road here. Booking it. People hike and bike on this trail. Yeah, there's 2 bikers right there. He slowed down. Still, dude was booking it. Okay, yeah. So it was freezing, and it was, oh yeah, that's where I was going. So in the daytime here, it's so warm and pleasant and perfect, and at night it drops down and it gets so cool, and then it gets to, like, freezing. It's just the coolest environment I've been in. It's just awesome. I love this. I'm not a fan of heat. I mean, when I'm freezing, like literally freezing because I didn't bring the right gear, I guess I'm not a fan of cold. I guess then I'd probably rather have heat. But like, it's so great when you can wake up and have a really nice, warm, hot cup of coffee, or have like a nice hot beverage before you go to sleep, like a cup of tea, and not have it be 100 degrees outside. I prefer being an outdoorsman where it's cold, but I guess that's where the outdoors really are. I guess you can be an outdoorsman in Arizona, like in the southern portion, like Cody Lundeen, who is a badass. Alright, enough chit chat. I gotta get going. It's always a pleasure being able to post this stuff and put it up and feel like I'm communicating with everybody. It's definitely gonna keep me sane. Anyway, see you next time.